Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Coffee with Craig, where we talk about all things firearms policy, politics, culture, media, you name it. We're talking about it right here on Coffee with Craig. So please take a moment, like and share the program so that your friends can join in the conversation. Also, if you haven't already done so, please make it a point to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook. And in both cases, hit the notification button because, that way you can get the notifications as soon as these videos go live and you can participate in the live chat. Also, make sure to follow us on Instagram. Finally, if you haven't already done so, this week, make sure you visit fpcgear.com. That's fpcgear.com. It is a cool place to go to find all sorts of pro 2A swag, and know that every penny that you spend there goes right back into the fight for a right to keep and bear arms. So you can support the Second Amendment and you can look good doing it. That's fpcgear.com. All right, let's get into it. As you can tell, still in Washington, D.C., got the Capitol here in the background. And the reason why I have the Capitol here in the background is for this very reason. Right now, later this week, they're going to be hearing bills in the U.S. House, anti-gun bills, right? And so it's important that we make sure that our voices are heard with our congressmen, okay? That's vitally important. Some of the items that are up for discussion: a federal assault weapons ban. I know you guys hate it. Look, I'm holding a mic, so I can't do the full air quotes on the assault weapons. But the fact is that there's a ban. There's going to be an attempt by the House to ban firearms that are safe and in common use. Not the ones they want to say, well, they're being used in mass shootings. No, they're not. Statistics prove that they're not. Well, they're being involved overwhelmingly in gun violence. No, statistics will tell you, no, they're not. They are simply scary black guns, and that's the reason why they want to ban them. But that's one of the items that's going to be up and going to be discussed. The other is going to be universal background checks. Now, obviously, if it's universal, it must be good, right? No. The fact is that they want to utilize background checks as a roundabout way in which to register firearms. And we all know that's in the end is what their goal is. Well, not in the end, because their end goal is confiscation. But we all know that universal background checks do not reduce gun violence. We already know this. Studies have already shown in the state of California that universal background checks did almost nothing to help prevent either suicides or any type of gun violence in the state of California. So we already know that it doesn't work, and we already know that it will eventually lead to confiscation. We know that the goal is registration and then confiscation. So that's another one that we need to make sure does not come to light. And then finally, one that we all know is coming is red flag laws. That's the big one. That's the one we're talking to people the most about. Largely because it doesn't just affect our right to keep and bear arms. It affects our due process rights. It affects our private property rights. Your right to face your accuser. Your right to go into court to be innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, that's thrown on its head with red flag laws. And the reason why this one is so vitally important is because we're hearing even some Republicans who are like, who are supposed to be normally pro-gun. Even some of them are like, well, if we could find a way, is there a compromise? And, we've been very clear. When it comes to compromise, FPC is a non-compromising organization, right? We don't compromise. And when compromise is ever offered, it's never, I'm going to give you something and in exchange for getting something. That's never what their compromise is. Their compromise is, we're going to restrict your rights. We're going to compromise on how much we're going to take. It's like saying, tell you what, we're going to chop off your fingers. Now let's negotiate how many we're going to chop off, right? That's the way in which compromise works. Now, here's the thing that I want to tell you. This effort, what we're doing right now, only works if you all are engaged, all right? If you guys are involved. If you go to stopredflaglaws.com, that's the first thing that I need you to do. If you go there, you can then send a message to the White House as well as to the Senate and the House. You can tell them that we do not support the idea of unconstitutional gun confiscation, especially if it doesn't include due process, which, by the way, red flag laws do not. All right, that's one thing. Now, once you're there, you'll also be at that point. You'll also be at fpc.org. Click on the Take Action button, and if you go there, the very first bills are going to be all the federal bills that are up right now. Those are going to be at the very top of the list. On each one, go in, read about the bill, and then make sure you send a message. Make sure you send a message. Just click on the link and you can send a message letting them know that we do not support you expanding gun control or whatever the particular bill is. But folks, this is an effort, and the more I'm talking to folks, the more they're telling me, look, we're hearing from our constituents. We're hearing from our constituents. Well, guess who their constituents are? That would be you. So this only works if they're hearing from you. So you guys have seen all the little quick hit videos, we're telling you we're going into offices and stuff like that. Folks, those are for a reason. Those are to help encourage you to go and send a message, to go and make a phone call. FPC is not an organization. We don't give money to candidates, right? The way in which we support the Second Amendment and get legislators to support the Second Amendment via policy is by them hearing from you. When they know that it matters to the voters, then they're more likely to pay attention. I can tell you that a lot of these bills, the ones that are in the House, are likely to pass the House. So as many as we can do to kill them is possible. We need your help to do. The main one, the big one, once again, is red flag laws. Those are the things, and they're trying to find a way. Some people are trying to find a way to support it, whether it's actually passing a federal red flag law, or they're also talking about providing grants to states that have red flag laws. And I don't support that. We don't support the idea of financing or the federal funds being used for gun control at the state and local level. That is just not what our federal tax dollars should be used for, especially when the programs that they're putting in place are clearly unconstitutional and violate our rights. Anyway, folks, I realize that I've given you a lot. I realize it's kind of a short coffee today. But once again, I got a lot more doors that I need to be knocking on, me and the rest of the legislative team or the lobbying team, advocacy team, however you want to call it. But folks, you make our job easier in two ways. Number one, by making your voice heard. And number two, if you get a chance, make sure drop $1 or $2, click on the donate button and drop $1 or $2, a few bucks in order to help us with our efforts. Folks, this is a team effort. We don't work without we. We doesn't work without you. So thank you for your support. Thank you for your hard work. And I'm looking forward that at the end of all this to be able to have some good reports for you. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's Coffee with Craig. Thank you so much for liking and sharing these videos and telling your friends about the Firearms Policy Coalition. We are the home in the fight for civil rights. Got to use them or you're going to lose them.
If you like our videos, follow, subscribe, like, and share.